A spending deal is in place, but will the Democrats be dumb enough to actually shut down the government over the spending deal and over the Dreamers? Hey everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. The Senate announced earlier on Wednesday that they had come to an agreement on a bipartisan plan for a 2-year spending agreement. Now, not everybody is in love with this thing. In fact, Democrats are probably a little bit more in love with it than Republicans. Here's what it would do, at least according to CNN. Senate leaders unveiled a massive 2-year budget deal, a major victory for both parties that could prevent a government shutdown at the end of this week and increase the federal government's spending. Now, that's something that conservatives do not like. The plan still needs to pass the House, where there are a few issues there that I'll get to in just a little bit. Reading from CNN, Leader Mitch McConnell unveiled the deal with Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor. It would boost military and non-defense spending by around $300 billion over the next 2 years, as well as add more than $80 billion in disaster relief. About $160 billion would go to the Pentagon, $128 billion would go to non-defense programs. The agreement also includes aid to respond to recent natural disasters. The Washington Post puts it this way: the budget deal would increase discretionary spending. The government functions funded year to year through congressional appropriations by 21% over existing budget caps. That's something that conservatives are not happy about. Those caps are rooted in a 2011 agreement struck after GOP lawmakers threatened to reject an increase in the federal debt limit unless President Obama and the Democrats brought government spending under control. Their resolve did not last. Bipartisan deals raised caps in 2013 and in 2015. According to the outlines of a budget deal shared by congressional aides, existing spending limits written into the law would be raised by a combined $296 billion through 2019. The agreement includes an additional $160 billion in uncapped military and State Department funding, and about $90 billion more would be spent on disaster aid for victims of recent hurricanes and wildfires. For those of us in West Texas, it would also mean cotton would be protected as well, which is really something major that they have been trying to get through for a long time. It would also, according to the Washington Post, the funding is reserved for particular programs favored by lawmakers of both parties. Research conducted by the National Institutes of Health, as well as transportation, water infrastructure. CHIP would be extended through 2028, and the Federal Fund for Community Health Centers would see a 2-year extension. Also, there would be a few other things that would be mixed in to this agreement as well. So there are a lot of moving parts in this. The 2-year budget and the 2-year budget agreement with the disaster package included would include provisions that would bolster cotton and dairy programs in the Farm Bill. That is something that a lot of folks out here in West Texas, a lot of folks pay attention to, and really have been fighting for, including Congressman Jody Arrington, who has been fighting for this. Is it a conservative budget? No, it's not. There are going to be some conservatives who are against this, though I do expect it to pass if it does come up for a vote. Now, Nancy Pelosi is currently, as I speak right now, she's on the House floor. She's been speaking for over 7 hours on the issue of DACA and the Dreamers. Now, Nancy Pelosi and Democrats are saying that, or some Democrats are saying that they don't want to even take a vote on the 2-year agreement unless the Dreamers and the DACA recipients are protected and there's an agreement on illegal immigration, or there's an agreement on DACA recipients and Dreamers. Matt Mackowiak tweeted out, and you hear Matt Mackowiak on my show Monday mornings. Matt Mackowiak sent out a tweet that this is all a stunt by Nancy Pelosi, and that she's just kind of covering her own butt on this because a lot of Democrats will end up voting for the 2-year budget plan. Listen, folks, I agree with that. I don't think the Democrats are dumb enough to shut down the government again for the Dreamers and for DACA. They got their butts handed to them in the last government shutdown. It did not work out well for them. Polling shows that Republicans were the ones who came out on top of that. I don't think Democrats really want to shut down the government for the Dreamers and for immigration issues. Again, I don't think they want that. I think they want to have a debate and a fight maybe over DACA and immigration. I think they want to pull these stunts like Nancy Pelosi is. But at the end of the day, I do not see the Democrats voting to shut down the government. The big pull for House Speaker Paul Ryan and other Republicans is to try and get conservatives on board and for this bill to pass. It's going to be an interesting vote to see what happens, but I fully expect this to pass. Again, it's not conservative legislation, but it's a deal that the president likes, and at the end of the day, if the president likes it, Republicans are going to fall in line as they have on other issues that aren't conservative, but that have gained the support of President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump, not a conservative, okay? There's you go back to his State of the Union address, he didn't talk about fiscal discipline. He didn't talk about getting federal spending under control. Those are some very big fiscally conservative ideals that he left out of the State of the Union address. I don't see, there might be a few conservatives who vote against this, but at the end of the day, I think most Republicans will vote for this. They will fall in line behind President Trump and vote for this in order to avert a government shutdown and to move on to other topics. Again, a 2-year agreement means that now you have 2 years to discuss other issues such as infrastructure, immigration, and other key issues facing the United States. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time, News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Have a great day. We'll talk later.